index and match, hands down my favorite formula, hands down the formula that I use the most. I may stand corrected, but I don't think I've ever made a spreadsheet where I do not use index and match. It is absolutely pivotal to most of what I do. And yes, there are VLOOKUPs. Yes, there are HLOOKUPs. Yes, there's now even XLOOKUPs. And by the time you watch this video, there may be a whole lot of other lookups. But for me, index and match always trumps all of them. So I'm doing this video first. Again, depending on when you're watching this video, the other ones may be available. I do have plans to do all three of the other lookups videos for all of them. But I wanted to start with this one because in the other ones, I'm going to revert back to this one and saying, use this one instead. This one to me is the best. Let me show you how it works. And on the other videos, I'll show you why I don't think you should use them. But let me show you how the index and match works. There's two ways of doing this. When you've got a table of data, so to speak, so you've got a column and you want to be able to look up based on the columns and the headers that I've got in green. So you want to, if we're looking up in column A, for example, and we wanting to find the one that's on the line matching up with line number 6. So we want to return that one. How do we do that? How do we put in, we want to see what's on line 6 and we want to return the 1. So let's just forget about some of these other ones for now. Let's have a look at the row. So the row we want to look at is row 6. We're not using the column. We'll do a lookup where we look up rows and columns next. But let's first start if we're looking up one particular column. So we want to look up in this column and we want to find the one that is in the same line as number 6 in this green column over here. In other words, we want to return that 1. How do we do that? Now, this is where people would use VLOOKUP, but VLOOKUP's got issues. It can't look up right to left. If you delete columns, it messes up the formulas, all that kind of thing, whereas this won't. So equals index. What do you want to index? I.e., what do you want to actually show? I want to show the number here. So if I lock that, let's just click up here so we can see it properly. So if I lock that reference in place, comma space, what row number? So now the row number is going to change depending on that. So this is where we bring in the match. So we say match. What do we want to match? The lookup value, we want to match the 6. Let's lock it in place. Where's the lookup array? We want to match the 6 from there. So there's the lookup array, the range again, lock that. Now we've got a type. So the type you just put in 0 is exact match 1 greater than 1, or minus 1, 1, sorry, is less than, minus 1 greater than. So we want an exact match, 0, close the brackets. Column number, we don't even need to bother with. That's the extra bit that we're going to get to. Close that and enter. And there we go. It looks up the 6 over here. It finds the 6 and it returns the 1. So that formula instead of a VLOOKUP is much better because you can delete columns. You can look up left to right. You can move them around, all sorts of things, and it still works. Whereas a VLOOKUP won't. So that's the first one. But now what happens if I want to actually incorporate the horizontal lookup within that? Now, if I say, well, actually, I don't want to look in B in A, I want to look in B, but I want to be able to select here which column I want to use and look it up almost 3D, if you will. So we're looking up rows and columns. So now we need to change it slightly. So we've already got the match function in there for the first one, but now we want to add the second one. So now we put a comma in. Now what we do is we actually say, oh, so hold on, no, this is wrong. Let's just delete that. We need to start that again because we need to change the first range. So you go equals index. Now instead of just putting the first column, we actually put all 3. So we want to index all 3 of those columns and we lock that in place. Comma, row number, same as before, match that reference, lock it down with that array, lock it down with F4, and again, the match type is 0. Now we want to look up the column, now we want to look at the column number, so we do the match again, match lookup, that lookup value with what array, with that array across there, lock that down, match type 0 again, because we want that also exact, close the bracket, and enter. So now all of a sudden, we're saying 6 B is 7, and that's what we've got. If we change that to 4, we're now looking at 4B, which is 5. And if we change that to C, we're looking at 4C, which is 7. So now we can look up across and down. Now, if you want to use this to replace the H lookup, for example, it's a little bit more complicated, but let me just show you how to do that. Let's just clear that. Now what we want to do is we want to look in this row always, but we just want to determine by the column number. So we're always in this first row. So instead of doing that, you can still do the row 1 for whatever and just leave that row, that data in place. But if you don't have that, for example, you could put equals index. We want to index that. But this time with the row number, it's always this row. So all I do is I just refer to a blank cell next to it where there's no data in, and then I lock that in place, because that basically, with the row number, it pulls the row number off here and it'll always just give that row number. And then I go in with the match for the column. I say match that to that, naught, close both. And now it says 8, which is in C. So now it's ignoring this. It's just looking in that row there because I've told it to look in that row only. So you can replace the H lookup, you can replace the V lookup, and you can replace the X lookup, and you can look up left, right, up, and down, all in one, and that indexes and matches it.